Hey, my boos. How you doing? Hello, everyone. Um, let's see. Okay, says that we're starting. Hello, hello, hello. Um, it's great to chat with you all today. I'm just doing a quick live to talk about what's going on this week astrologically. Um, we've got a few things going on that might be important for you to know. The first one is Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Mercury retrogrades in Gemini. It's going to be moving back into Taurus, and then it'll go forward on June 3rd. So right now we're in a Mercury retrograde. Now you might have been feeling this for a couple of weeks because we do have a pre Mercury retrograde period that we start feeling Mercury retrograde. But we're in it right now. So here's the thing. Mercury retrograde can be navigated. It can be navigated well. You just have to use extra caution, extra time for things. Um, it's if you're going anywhere, check your car. Like mechanics are really important right now. If you're trying to do some research, double check things. So really, Mercury retrograde is asking you to slow down. We can't be as much in a hurry as we usually are. And we really have to think about what we say or what we write before we do. So, with it being in Gemini and then moving back into Taurus for a period of time, really all it means is that our focus is going to be our communication and our money and our values and how we look and things like that because Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. All right, so here's the practical things you got to know. Double check that email went through. Make sure that you may have to be flexible on meetings. A meeting might all of a sudden get rescheduled or pushed. Documents that you need for the meeting, you might not know where they are and it might not be working. So, this is a big thing, folks. If you're presenting somewhere, if you're bringing something along with you, you have to rely on technology for that. Like, say that you're going into like your Google Drive or your Dropbox to play it. Make sure you maybe have it saved on your hard drive or you have it saved on a zip disk because the technology might not work. Even if you think, okay, I have internet in this particular space, it might not be working. So always have a backup plan during Mercury retrograde. So again, like I said, it doesn't mean you can't do things and you can't get things done. You just need to have some kind of way to check things and to make sure things are all set before you do it. So it really is Mercury forces us to pre-plan, to give ourselves extra time, to slow down and double check things. Okay. Yeah, we know there's time. You're like, oh, Mercury retrograde, but it's what we have to manage through. It happens 3 or 4 times a year. All right. So you have your Mercury retrograde happening. Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, sometimes of excess, is going into the sign of Aries. And think about Aries. Aries, when we know Aries folks, they're very bold, they're very confident. They can be. They like to be seen as leaders, as experts. They like to be seen as people in charge. So if Jupiter goes into the sign of Aries, how that affects all of us is that it means that we're going to be feeling more bold about ourselves, our luck, making things happen. We may be taking some chances with Jupiter energy. We may also get a little too big for our britches. So that's the big thing that you have to watch out for is that, like you're going to be like, I know I'm the best at this. And then you may not be. So don't let your ego get too inflated. But when you know your stuff, um, there's nothing that can stop you. So Jupiter stays in Aries through October. So you have a lot of time, even if Mercury is in retrograde. Again, if you're trying to get a particular job, if you're trying to do something, it's just double checking it. But you have all the courage that you need during this time to do that. So think of it that way, that you can get things done. It's just, double check, be prepared. All right. Um, and then the other thing this week that's really important for you to know is this lunar eclipse that we're having in the sign of Scorpio. And it's a full moon. So that happens on May 15th. And, usually start feeling it 2 days before and 2 days after. So you'll start feeling it on the 13th, probably go up to the 17th. Um, lunar eclipse. Yeah. Those can be more intense. So we know that full moons are endings, right? So something may abruptly come to an end, or something may like be transformational, that makes changes. So, from every ending becomes a new beginning. So you can look at it like, this may be ending and this may be ending in a way that I don't really love. But it's okay because there's a new beginning. And even if you're not sure of what that is, um, that's okay because it'll come clear. Um, so that's the thing. I think with Scorpio, it's going to be an eclipse that's going to really maybe pull things out, like make you tired, just make you feel like you've done a lot of work to get to the place that you are with this situation. And you probably have done a lot of work. And then here comes Scorpio, the full moon and Scorpio eclipse. That's like ba bang with it. But maybe that's the way it had to be. And it could end something, so a new beginning that you need is like right there and it's amazing. So look at it that way. But full moons do bring endings, so don't be surprised if something sort of comes out of left field with this one. And in Scorpio, the work that you're doing is really transformational. It's digging up secrets, it's investigating things. Our Scorpios are very secretive, but they know how to get information out of people. And so that may be how you approach things, even yourself. Like, what do I really need to look at finally? So, yeah, it should be an interesting time from the 13th, the 15th, especially, because that's when the actual eclipse happens, to the 17th. So, not that this week is going to be bad. It's not. I think it's one of those things that you really have to just kind of hold on for the ride. You have to believe in yourself and your talents and skills. That's where the Jupiter energy comes in. So, don't doubt. Like, sometimes we downplay what we do, and we're like, yeah, I'm good at that. Well, you're great at it, and that's the thing you have to think about this week. So, if there's things that you need to push forward, or people need to hear from you, um, even if you feel like, this is a new area for me, then you got to speak up. You got to, send that email, do what you need to do because Jupiter is informing you. Just don't get too big for your britches. Like, sometimes we can, you know, um, like finagle things a little bit. Like, oh, I know kind of how to do that, and I'll learn how to do more, and that's fine. But if you truly don't know something, maybe you frame it that way. Hey, I don't know that, but I'm going to learn it, and if you give me a chance, I'll talk to someone. I'll go on the internet. I'll do whatever I have to do. So, um, it's a week of thinking about things, realizing how strong you are, how talented you are, what you can get done, um, and just making sure that your message is clear, and that's a really important thing too. Um, yeah, if you're thinking about doing research, taking a class, all that kind of stuff, this may be the time that you're thinking about it. You may want to see if you can get into that class, or maybe this is a time just to do research and maybe not sign up for it right now because of that Mercury retrograde. It may not go off, or it may switch a date or something like that. It may not turn out the way you think. So that's just those things to be cautious about. But at the end of the day, we have to live our lives, do what we have to do. Um, and knowing about the planets is super important because it can help us figure out why things are so crazy. But it doesn't mean that our lives stop. We just take some extra time with it. So, all right, guys, that's your astrology for the week. If you have any questions, where is your Jupiter in your chart? Because everybody has a Jupiter. It can be in different signs. Mine's in Capricorn. If you want to know where your Jupiter is, if you want to know how the full moon's going to affect you based on where your moon is in your chart, any kind of questions about that, just anything you want to know, you can reach out to me at mary@marydalba.com. Here on Facebook, you can go to my website and use the contact me page at marydalba.com, marydalba.com. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you again soon. All right, everyone, take care.